Hey everybody, this is Dream, and today we have a 4-game NBA slate that starts at 7 p.m. There is another game that starts earlier, but that game's not included in the main slate here. So let's go and get in the injury report. We have quite a big injury report for such a small slate. For the Magic, Carter Jr. is probable, Banchero is out, Anthony is out, and then Gary Harris is doubtful. For the Pacers, Halliburton is questionable and Duarte is out. For the 76ers, Harden and Maxey are both out. Harris is questionable. Melton is questionable. I also assume, and I haven't seen anything yet, but Embiid is probably questionable as well. Spurs, Collins is out. Podol is questionable. Vassell is questionable. Johnson's probable. And McDermott's probable. And then for the Clippers, Kennard is currently out. I do expect more injuries like Embiid and potentially the Clippers, Kawhi or Paul George to potentially be out as well. We just haven't heard about that yet. So I'm going to operate as if those guys are all in. So we're going to start looking at the point guards here. So we're going to start with Shake Melton. Now, Shake Melton should get a ton of run today with Harden and Maxey both out. You can see yesterday he actually got yesterday he got some pretty good run, 31 minutes. He's been pretty solid, and he's literally $3,100 here on DraftKings, so he's a great play on the slate, especially if anybody else is ruled out for that game. Then we'll look at Jalen Suggs here for Orlando. Now, he has been improving lately, and with Banchero out, he's getting lots of play, and he also had a game winner yesterday, so that was pretty interesting. Then we're going to look at Tyrese Halliburton. Now, Halliburton is questionable today, and it is a back-to-back, but he did hurt his ankle yesterday, but we'll have to see if he ends up playing today or not. I kind of feel like he won't, but I still think he's a good option. Now, if he doesn't play, then whoever starts for him would be a great option on the slate, and that nice little plus matchup here. And then Mike Conley for Utah. He's in an interesting spot here because his price is pretty good here. He's got some upside. He has been a little bit inconsistent lately, but he still has pretty good upside for the price he's at. We're going to look at Franz Wagner here for Orlando. Now, he's been pretty good lately. His price point has come up a little bit, but overall, he's a pretty good safe play because he's going to get plenty of minutes in this matchup, and I expect him to do pretty well here. Then look at Buddy Hield. Especially if Halliburton is out, he's going to get a big boost. He's had a couple of rough games, but overall, his price point's still a little bit cheap for what for his upside, because he obviously has 40-point upside in any given day, and he's the second guy on offense. Then we'll look at Devin Vassell for Spurs. He's also questionable today, but his upside is way too high for what his price is. It actually came down surprisingly, quite a bit in fact. But he should still get a ton of minutes if he ends up playing, so we do want to check in on that. And then we're going to look at Tobias Harris for Philadelphia. So he's been inconsistent lately, but with all the guys out, he should get a lot of run today, assuming he plays. He is questionable as well, and so we have to take that into consideration. We'll know closer to lock. And then Keldon Johnson, he's another guy that's questionable. But if he does play, he's at a good price point here with his upside. However, again, he's questionable too. And if Keldon doesn't start, that's going to open up a lot of guys for the Spurs. Then we'll look at Jalen Smith here for Indiana. His minutes have kind of been good the last few games. He's been inconsistent this season, but he's got a lot of upside at this price point. It's actually come down a little bit, and his usage has gone up. And especially if some guys are out, he would definitely get a boost. Karl Towns' price point has actually just came down a bunch again. He's been going up and down. He started the season kind of high and then went a little bit low. Then he had some big games, and so it popped back up. Now it's dropped back down again. He's got too much upside in this matchup for the price that he is. He is going against Embiid potentially, but, I mean, they have Gobert too, so he might focus on him. And Towns can play all over the floor. And then Bol, he's been extremely good the last few games, and this is another good matchup for him as well. His price point is still pretty good. He's a little bit inconsistent, 5 or 6 games ago, but he seems like he's starting to get in the groove, and he's getting close to double-doubles every game. And so if he can continue that, this price point will rocket up as his minutes increase. For center, we have Rudy Gobert. He's just way too cheap here on DraftKings for what he can do. I don't love him just the same because he is inconsistent, especially now where he's in a timeshare with Carl Towns for buckets at the power forward / center position. But he is playing pretty well, and his price point is fair for what he can do here. If he gets a double-double or has a big rebound game like he has occasion to do, then he'll pay off here extremely easily. And I expect a game like that in this matchup. Then we'll look at Joel Embiid. Now, I actually don't really expect Joel to play because he typically doesn't play on back-to-backs. But if we look at his last 3 games, he's hitting absolutely ludicrous numbers. Obviously, with a lot of guys out, that's going to give him more opportunity. But overall, he's just playing extremely well, taking tons of shots. And his price point isn't cheap, obviously. He's $11,200. But he has definite potential to 5x here on the slate. And then Miles Turner for Indiana. He's been pretty good lately. He's had some really good games. Yesterday, he really took a while to get going, and then he ended up getting pretty close to what we needed. Not ideally, but he didn't play as many minutes either because of fouls. So if he can bounce back today, he'll probably get more minutes and hopefully more shots and rebounds and stuff. And this is a nice plus matchup for him. So overall, I really just like him on the slate. With that said, thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. If there's anybody you think I left out, feel free to leave the comments below. And have a nice day, guys.